This is our 1955 Plymouth Savoy.
You guys might remember we built the car in 28 days.
Yeah, and by built the car, you mean you and your dad and the whole crew built a complete chromoly chassis and then wrapped the skin of a Savoy around it. You know, like you do.
So last time we were at Roadkill Nights, we built the car specifically to go compete in the Hellcat Influencer Grudge Match.
Some of those rules were a 6-speed manual transmission and a Hellcat. Did I mention Hellcat?
Yeah.
Hellcat drivetrain.
The car is super set up to be competitive on the street. It's got the right amount of weight, the right amount of distribution. It really showed a lot of promise last year.
I'm just gonna commend you right now on you being so humble.
Thank you.
Basically stomped everybody there. Anybody that pulled up next to this car knows the car now.
This time, we are not competing in the influencer portion of Roadkill Nights. We're actually going to compete in the big tire section of the event itself.
We'll still be influencing, though.
Influencing them to go faster. You get 3 rounds of qualifying, and then the quickest 8 cars go into a quick 8 shootout. Small tire has 8, big tire has 8, and then you race and hope that you come out on top. So the problem right now is that this is still a manual transmission. I know, it's still a cool factor, right?
It is very cool.
In between rounds, we're looking at least 45 minutes for the clutch to cool down so we don't smoke the clutch. And when we go to Woodward, we are not going to have 45 minutes in between rounds and passes.
We're running laps.
This time, we want to put an automatic transmission in it, which is actually something I've wanted to do ever since we built the car.
Really?
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit faster, more consistent. I'm going to be able to use a trans brake.
I do love the trans brake.
And we actually get to make some safety upgrades this time as well.
We want it to be a comfortable, drivable, easily commutable vehicle.
I don't want any of that. I want it to be intense and ready to meet some competition.
With blinkers and headlights.
With blinkers and headlights.
It's kind of cool. I might have to keep it. Oh, hello there. Welcome to Hot Rod Garage. Super. Already took out the drive shaft. We unhooked some wires on the top, took the shifter off, and 2 bolts, and this thing is gone. Alex had a good point, too. We won't do anything with this because it's a nice, well-built vehicle specific to this transmission in this vehicle. So we'll just keep this with the transmission because it might go back in. You never know. So the trick here is to keep it all nice and straight.
So we're going to be pulling our 6-speed manual transmission out and preparing for our power glide that's going to be going in.
Going down, 3rd floor, slush box 2 speeds, 6 speeds, and turbo 400s. Okay, so the 6-speed is out. Still have to pull off the bell housing, scatter shield, clutch assembly. This is a multi-disc clutch. And the flywheel, not flex plate, it's a flywheel, but what is going in is a flex plate. Ow. Ready?
Yeah.
It might be heavy.
It's not light.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. Okay, so this is a multi-disc clutch. And those are some interesting colors.
So this is our 6-speed faceplated transmission that we just took out. This is our clutch that we just took out. And one of the biggest things that we're trying to avoid is the need to cool the clutch down in between rounds. So over here is what we're going to be switching to, which is a power glide. So it's a 2-speed automatic transmission. It'll have a manual valve body with a trans brake, and then our converter with a flex plate. So of course you can't just run back to back. You will get stuff hot here, but it's not the same as this. And this is a little bit easier to cool down. My friend over at Jake's Performance is going to do us a favor and get us a transmission in a pretty decent time. It's just not this week. The new transmission will also have all the good drums and input shafts, and everything internal will be nice and high quality with the trans brake. So our goal this week is to use this as a mock-up, so that way we can work on shifter location and mounting, as well as a transmission mount back here. But that gives you kind of an overview.
One of the good things about doing wiring on the vehicle is Alex was planning ahead when she originally started building this car and ordered a steering column with a turn indicator and hazard switch built into it. It's called a combo switch. Gives me provisions to hook up brake lights and turn indicators and still have the provisions of a little lever on the side. Roadkill Nights absolutely wants to see us with a fully street legal car. This makes it a lot easier. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Alex.
This engine came with VVT, so variable valve timing, meaning that it can retard the cam up to 38 degrees as it is in part throttle conditions. With the Holley Dominator, we're not actually able to control the VVT, so we're going to be locking out the cam. To lock the cam out, or lock the cam phaser out, I should say, we need this little bitty piece right here. This has to come off, and this and that, and then everything else, and then it all has to go back together for this. Finally, after fiddling, got the whole front cover off. Now the phaser is out. We have this cam phaser lockout kit, part number 5760 from Comp Cams. The way it works is you insert this, which will take spring tension off because there's a spring inside of here. Let's get into it. You can see how it actually works because this is all we're putting in. Okay, so this is the inside of the phaser here. Oil comes into here, which goes into chambers, which goes into vanes, which controls how this twists under partial throttle. So this open gap is the amount that it could move, which represents, say, 38 degrees of retarding the cam. That's how much it's able to move. By inserting this piece, as you can see, it's just going to drop in just like that, and that's going to prevent it from even being possible for it to move and retard the cam at all. So now that I'm going to tighten this up, it puts pressure, which will keep that in there and in place, and it won't fall out. Okay, so now that that's in there, I can get ready to start reassembling the phaser. Keep in mind, tech tip, make sure not to remove this tool until this is all reassembled, or else you will unwind the spring at this point. So go ahead and get everything tightened back up, and then you can take stuff apart. Welcome to Arts and Crafts, hosted by Alex Taylor at Hot Rod Garage. Today, we have the craft project of sealing this intercooler up. So if you guys remember the last time that we took it out at Famoso and the time before that, it kept making very violent lane changes, but it finally occurred to us after our last pass as we're driving home and talking that this thing is sweating. So, long story short, we have a lot of reason to believe that there is water leaking off of this. You guys know, water on the track or water under your tire is not ideal. So, going to go ahead and wrap and insulate this. Let's wrap. This should seal it up nice and tight, and hopefully we no longer have a random lane change. We have our cam locked out, the front cover back on, and it is time to pin the crank. We made almost 1,000 horsepower to the tire on the dyno. We think that's when the pin broke and elongated the hole that's in the crank snout.
So first thing I did was I marked on the front of the crank where the old hole was. So when we put this fixture on, it will be 180 degrees off, or pretty close to it. Doesn't have to be exact. It fits very close. It's a tolerance fit there. Hold on, let me hit it with something hard.
Ow, that hurt me.
Did it?
Watching you do that hurt.
Anybody know a vet? Because I think these puppies are sick.
So we have the smaller drill guide stuck in here now with the holding screw. We're getting ready to drill into the crank all the way through to the center bore, so it'll be a through hole. Keep in mind, it is a press-to-fit pin, so the preciseness of this is very important, but that's what this fixture allows you to do. So now it's time to actually put the pin in. It's supposed to protrude out of the crank 0.093 because that is the depth that we need to go into the keyway here on the balancer.
Alex Taylor,
Yeah.
Is this thing ready to go?
That is.
Here we go. Enjoy the show. All right, it's going. I'm exhausted.
The crankshaft is repinned, the dampener is back on. All of the front accessories are pretty much on. I just have a few more tensioners, a couple belts to put on, then I can drop the blower, bolt that back down, and then after that, we can attack the transmission, raise the car up in the air, mock the transmission into place, get the transmission cooler mounted, route lines, make a transmission cross member. Lots of fun stuff coming up, but we've started to check most of the big stuff off the to-do list. Getting ready for Roadkill Nights, we have taken our 6-speed manual transmission that we raced with last year out, and we are putting our 2-speed power glide in. We wanted to make sure that we were going to be competitive and could make it to each round as we go to Roadkill Nights. We were having a little bit of trouble cooling the clutch in a short period of time, so this is going to be perfect for the racing that we're getting ready to do.
So no more clutch overheating.
Correct.
And no more crazy body movements in every gear.
So this is not the actual power glide we're going to be using. It won't be here until next week. Jake's Performance is building it and sending it. It'll be SFI case, so we don't have to have scatter shields or anything like that. But we're going to use this for mock-up. So it is the same length to the mounting point, so we're gonna go ahead and do transmission cross member, go ahead and mount our cooler and run lines and all that good stuff, but we get to play mock-up.
Okay, I did do some pre-measurements, and the alignment dowels are super close.
It's gonna be the easiest install we've done all week.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Up.
There you go.
All right.
What we have done is lined our input shaft in the transmission and the center of the crank line. That way we know that it is the height that it's going to be.
We have it parallel to the back of the block, so it's pretty close to straight.
So we're going to use it in this position, go ahead and build a second cross member that will mount separately from our original one. When our new transmission gets here, it should be pretty close.
I cut a piece of chromoly to go from left to right trans cross member. We had a couple of prefab gussets. Also got a couple of flanges that we picked up at a local metal place. Cut it, trimmed it, punched a couple holes in it, and now I'm gonna tack it in, and I'll take the whole thing and set it on the bench, finish welding it together. So the rain is cleared up, the track is prepped, it's all clean, it's all dry. They're in line right now. Let's get that thing up here and see what it does.
Alex made the change from a manual last year, and she owned it with that car in the manual. Now she's going to have an automatic in it, which in my opinion is going to make it even tougher to beat. Here comes Tom Bailey with the brand new Sigma Magazine Durango.
Alex Taylor, Hot Rod Garage, Tom Bailey, Sigma Magazine. This should be a good race here.
Jason's got them both ready, and he's going to send them on their way.
Good lap for both of them. Good lap for Alex, good lap for Tom. How about that, folks?
So that was a battle among friends. No feelings hurt. Everybody's cool. Savoy rocked it. That looked pretty cake to me.
I felt really good about that pass. The car went straight, it hooked, it took everything we gave to it, so I'm happy.
Good job, by the way.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
It went straight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What?
I lost my voice.
Yeah, because we can hear you screaming in the car at the top of the track.
I think the new tire and wheel combination really helped straighten that out. Testing was really valuable the other day, and I feel much better about it. So I think we're gonna add more power and see if it'll take it.
Add more power.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hot Rod Garage.
A couple serious hot rods coming up here. Some of the big tire cars that will actually drag the burnouts across the starting line because they want to lay down patches of rubber. They want to be able to get that starting line better. Pay attention right here. Could have two of your big tire slots filled right here. Alex Taylor left side, but she's going to face the former champion, Joe Barry, the guy who won it all last year in big tire. That's the creamsicle 1956 Chevy over on the right-hand side. So
Beautiful
both of these
car.
cars very capable of grabbing a top 8 spot right here.
55 Plymouth Savoy, 56 Chevrolet. Definitely is time to start thinking about who could be a top 8 player.
Both cars left great, and then Alex started driving.
Yeah.
Driving around. Driving right around the other lane. Win 2 in a row.
And the car that you guys beat ain't no slouch.
Yeah, that ain't no slacker right there.
Check the whole shot.
Look at
Jason
this.
Ruger with the orange rod, and Alex is checked out. Lights
Just
out.
already a car plus in front. Now, Barry's obviously got more power in that car. And you see he starts reeling her in, but 660 feet, an 1/8 mile, disappears in a hurry. Look at the replay.
Knows. Very
Oh,
close race, by about a door.
Yeah, that was about a little more than a fender length, not much. That could be fast enough to get into that quick 8. We're just going to have to wait and see.
We just did 2 qualifying runs, and we just got the text that we are in the big tire shootout. So the quick 8, it's head-to-head. So from here on out, it's instant elimination. So let's cross our fingers we make some rounds.
So a couple of heavyweights going to battle it out a little earlier than expected.
This could be really, really exciting right here, folks. Here comes the power. Here comes the power. Here comes the power. Oh, my God.
They both kind of mean light, straight the whole way down the track. Track's prepped great. Good times.
That was way too close. Look at it on the replay.
Here
Alex
comes that
Taylor
horsepower.
over a half a car length in front. Look at the finish line and how close it was. Here's the finish line.
At the stripe, by a nose.
Ooh.
Great drag race.
Oh, so close.
Great drag race.